Hi everybody, how we doing? How was your New Year's? I hope you had a nice time and everybody was safe and getting ready for a new year with a lot of D&D coming up, like I am, because we definitely have a lot of D&D coming up. Don't really have much by way of announcements. Giants tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern. The party continues after finally making it to the city of Lascon. They're going through and going to find them a boat to make their way to Waterdeep. So that's their current objective. D&D replay on Friday. Our Stealing Dragons, which is the Waterdeep Dragon Heist game, that returns on Friday night. Fell Entropy on Sunday. This game returns again next week on Tuesday. Civil War finally is going to start next Wednesday. And then Ascension, not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday following. That's pretty much everything, though. Are you guys ready over here?
I mean, I'm ready.
Maybe.
Yep.
Alright, I'm back, sorry.
Okay.
I had to step away and then work called. Talk about tomorrow, so might not have to work. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so Damien's gonna be a little bit late.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll just go ahead and start out without him, since it's gonna be a little bit of a shopping start to the session, I think. Alrighty, so we good for recap?
Yep.
Awesome. Alright, so I wrote an actual recap instead of winging it like I have the last few sessions.
Yeah.
So as at the beginning of last session, as you exited the cave, leaving the dungeon of the Throne of Bone behind you, you saw fire and smoke in the distance clouding up the night sky in the same direction as the Grigsby homestead. You rushed off through the woods, heading straight for what could only be ruin before you, and arrived at the homestead to see it was just completely in ruin and burning. As your eyes scanned the field and the structures belonging to the Grigsbys, you spotted the ones responsible for this destruction, the Cult of the Dragon. You saw several members were standing over two bodies, the Grigsbys themselves. With wild fury, you rushed into combat with the cult. The cult fanatics charged at you, making it very obvious that you were their real targets, and that the Grigsbys were just unfortunate collateral damage. They attacked with fanatical fury, but fell just the same to your attacks. That is, until their Red Dragon companion joined into the fray. The Red Dragon immediately flew into Max, who was flying above the battle as well, and landed and proceeded to breathe fire and melee the party. The dragon's attacks were devastating, causing the party to fight harder than they had to in quite a while. After taking out the cultists, everyone in the party converged on the dragon, and even though its attacks were ripping through your defenses, ultimately, you were able to withstand the fury of its blows and slay the dragon. With the battle concluded, you set about burying the Grigsbys and putting them to rest. They didn't deserve this, but you felt that you had at least avenged their murder, and laid them in the earth with a small service. After looting the dead cultists and harvesting what you could from the dragon, including its entire head, you rested for the night in the now ownerless Grigsby homestead. With the unpleasant business out of the way, you headed back to Waterdeep, knowing another council session would be called within the next few days. You arrived just before dusk and set about selling and buying things and looking to go shopping. And that is where we're going to start the session. So at this point, you've gone and talked to Erlingel with the pieces of the dragon that you were able to get off of its body, and such scales and hide and such, as well as the head. You went to Erlingel with a very specific request, Stone Skull did rather, of wanting to make some armor for his bear, so that it wouldn't suffer such wounds as it did in that last fight. With that, Ignalia set about trying to get rid of some of the extra stuff that you found along the way, able to proffer a good amount of gold from a few different merchants, and thus leaving you with about an hour or so of daylight left. You know that the shops are going to be closing up fairly soon, but you do have a little bit of time if you want to go looking for anything else.
I mean, I do. I sent you that list. Some things I'm trying to track down.
Anyone fancy a stroll into the merchant district?
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
See if anything catches our eye. Also, maybe we should stop by our more eccentric friend's place. He is the one who sent us to the Grigsby's.
We can stop by there, but y'all better not walk out of there owing any more favors.
Is he in Waterdeep?
Think so?
Yeah. Thought so.
The last time you're talking about shit, where's my other notes? Characters, there we go. Vlagan. Is that who you were talking
Yeah,
about?
Vlagan
The crazy
Warrior.
guy.
Yeah. The last time you found him, you initially found him way down south, down in that one city. But you did find his shop the second time in Waterdeep, down in the Trades Ward.
Seems like a good place to start.
Alright, yeah. Let's head over to Vlagan.
Okay. So as you start making your way through the Trades Ward, you remember that his shop was actually down here towards the edge of the Trades Ward itself, heading towards the dock ward. Kind of in a, not shady necessarily, but a bit dingier looking area of the Trades Ward. Not as robust and such as the other places. As you're making your way down, you follow the corridors and alleyways and such, moving through it. The city itself, still bustling with activity. However, definitely growing down with the onset of dusk coming in. As you make your way around a corner, you know that Vlagan has a very particular motif set about the outside of his shop that you recognized in both locations, down south as well as in Waterdeep. The one down south you saw had this tree like edifice across the doorway as well as leading up the rest of the building. And it seemed kind of gnarled and a bit dead the first time you found his shop. The second time in Waterdeep, the tree seemed to have a bit more life to it. Still not having anything on its branches. They still lied bare. However, the tree wasn't sickly looking and such. It looked more alive, maybe a tree eater in winter or something along that ilk. As you're making your way down the alley where you knew on the corner lied Vlagan's shop, you see a normal looking building here. Not the ornate looking tree one that you had gone to before. But you're certain it's the right place.
Well, I feel like I should be surprised, but he's definitely an interesting fellow. He can make whole buildings disappear. Or change.
Or did we imagine it?
We didn't imagine the note and the Grigsby's and the potions and all the aid he's given us so far.
I mean, that much is true. Well, we tried. There's no more we can do to find him.
He just, he seems to come and go as he pleases.
Well, let's go off and look at what the merchants have then.
Hopefully they're still there.
So y'all just seeing the building gone. You're not going to approach it or anything. You're just going to head back off to the north.
Well, when you put it like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's like there's still a building there. It's just the like ornate tree looking doorway as well as the side of the building isn't there. It's just a normal square looking building now.
All right.
Maybe he
Take a
replanted
closer
it inside.
Yeah, let's
Could be.
I mean, if there's further investigation, we at least go up and knock on the door and see what's in there now.
True. You want to ask the owners how long they've lived there.
So as you're
Okay.
walking up towards this building, you see it looks once again kind of dingy, not not upkept really well in its exterior. A lot of kind of dry rotted wood from the sea air, the salt sea air, from years of toil up against it. However, you do see a sign hanging above this quaint little doorway that says Singram's Salute.
It sounds like a bar.
Hmm.
Stone Skull, have you been to this bar?
Okay.
I have not.
And poke your head in.
Well, I've never seen a bar I didn't like.
All right. So as you start to move into it, getting a bit closer, you do hear the sounds of what sounds like a bar, actually. As you move forward, you actually see that it's opening the door and such. You see it's a very dimly lit room inside of it. And as you're looking, it's very small. You see only about 15 feet or so of common area for a couple of tables to sit down, and then you see the long bar stretching the entirety of this building from west to east. Behind it, you see nothing initially until you see a head kind of rising up from behind the counter, and you see a small gnome standing there cleaning a small mug in his hand, or actually not a small mug. For you, it'd be small, but for him, it's quite large. He's having to reach down into it, gets almost half his arm inside of this as he cleans out the mug. You see a few people sitting up at the bar, only about 5 people total inside of it, sitting around drinking and such. Not really any conversation going on. As the party starts to move into it, you see the gnome kind of peeking around the body of one man, kind of a rough-looking fellow, scar on the side of his face. He leans around him and looks at you and says, "Welcome to Singram's Salute. What are you looking for? What do you need? What do you want?"
Since nobody spoke up, Stone Skull immediately walks forward and says, "I just want an ale. Can I have an ale?"
You most certainly. You see this door, or this gnome, looking quite up at Stone Skull, towering up above him. Even with his Stone Skull, you're able to see he's standing on a large stool to get him up above this 4 foot or 5 foot high bar. He looks, he says, "Certainly, big fella, I can get you something." With that, he turns around. You see him moving back to a couple kegs and twisting the faucet open and filling up the mug he was just cleaning. Got it mostly clean before he filled it up with ale, and then brings it back to you, Stone Skull. That'll be 2 copper.
Stone Skull will place 3 copper down for him.
It's like, can you break a platinum?
Right?
With that, he looks and he says, "Appreciate it. And your friends, do you want anything to drink?"
Friends, I'm fine.
I'll have what he's having, and I'm going to lay down 3 copper as well.
Yeah, I'll sit down on the other side, order one as well, put down a silver, and say, "How long has the bar been here?"
As you're doing so, he looks at all your money, collecting it up, and starts pouring everybody except for Maximilian ales and bringing it back to you. He says, I've owned this establishment for a few years now. The building itself has been around for quite some time." He kind of looks down at the bar that he's standing on and sliding the drinks across. And as you can see, it's not really made with my height in mind, so it's obviously was owned by someone before me, so I can't say exactly how long this place has been here, but it's been here for some time, though I did have to close it down for, a couple of months or so. I had a trip up north. Just got back a couple days ago, actually.
Yeah, well, it's fascinating. Hopefully your trip went rather well.
With that, he nods, says, aye, it did. Just a little jaunt up towards the stone, or the spine of the world. I had some family up there, you see. But they're all doing well, even with these somewhat troubling times. Keep hearing all these rumors of dragons attacking random settlements and such, but I saw a little bit of damage here and there on my trip, but nothing too bad. I think it's just blown out of proportion.
I just drink harder. Oh, that's very good. When you go away, do you, I guess what's the appropriate word, sublet your establishment?
With that, he kind of raises an eyebrow. He says, I suppose I could. I have no real need for it, though. Businesses kind of looks around at the very few people, like you walking in kind of doubled the number that were in here. He says, business is most of the time steady. But this recent trip, I just shut it down and left the building here while I was away.
The building, very obviously inside, looks different than the last time we were in here.
A little bit. As you're looking around, like I said, you see this is very open air in the front part. There's a doorway leading back to probably the back half of the building, you assume, probably for living quarters and such.
Mm-hmm.
You see that the bar is kind of the same as the one that Vlagan was standing behind, but it's hard to tell if it's the same bar or if it was different.
How does the ale taste?
I'll pipe up. Just gonna gruff in the background. Does the name Vlagan Morden ring a bell?
It's decent ale, actually. Not the best you've had. The Yawning Portal and such had a little bit better, but not terrible. As you bring up the name Vlagan, he looks at you and kind of raises an eyebrow, thinking for a moment. You see a kind of grimy hand tapping against his cheek. He says, no, I haven't heard of a Vlagan Morden. Not that I can remember, at least.
Well, you'd remember him if you met him.
With that, he kind of shrugs, says, I suppose so. I'll take your word for it.
Kind of, talking to the group. We gonna stay and chat? Or are we gonna catch the last few hours of business?
Tara's gonna down her beer and slam it on the bar. Whatever you want to do.
I'll do the same and say, no, we've spent enough of his time.
Stone Skull's gonna lean over towards Max and say, aren't you gonna ask him about the business that was here?
No. I don't know what it would get us. It seems that Vlagan can reach us whenever he wants. Doesn't seem like the same courtesy extends the other way.
Okay.
To be fair, he might be a bit mad at us.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Probably not, but a normal person would have grounds to be somewhat miffed.
He'll be alright.
So, let's go see what any of the merchants have.
Before we walk out, Stone Skull will buy a small cask of the ale to take with him.
With that, he nods. Says, you want this one, or I have a few others in stock?
No, this will be fine.
Alright, with that, he nods. Says, it's not a bad one. Good choice. That's my black peak ale. With that, he nods and moves back. You see him disappearing back through this doorway. Only gone for about a minute or so, and then he comes back in carrying this cask, which, fits in under a crook of most of your arms pretty well. He's carrying it like it weighs a ton, just swaying back and forth, almost falls over once, but
Mhm.
gets back over there. You see him very, carefully walking up the stool, moving up to the edge, and then with a heavy sets it up onto the counter in front of you and says, "Okay." With that, he holds up a finger and says, "One moment." Okay. Yeah, for the cask here, 2 gold pieces.
And I will leave him 2 gold pieces.
Denzel's gonna be slapping the bag.
All right. With that, he nods. He says, "Thank you, my friends."
And Stone Skull will tuck it under his arm and just carry it out with him.
Yep. Have a good day, sir. Nice bar.
It was a pleasure serving you. Please stop by again. And with that, you leave Singram's Salute.
Yeah,
All right,
something's
to
not
the
right
merchants.
there.
Huzzah.
Something is not right with that.
All right. What are y'all? Your search of like clothing merchants, armors, smithers, magic items, potions, apothecaries.
Potions.
Definitely potions.
Yeah,
And maybe a rug to hold the place together.
Going to do clothing and probably potions as well, and maybe browse what magical wares there are.
Willie has died.
Said Willie just died. All right. He muted and they kicked him out again. All right. So you make your way back towards the Trades Ward Center, where you know that the biggest collection of businesses lie, of varying degrees. During this kind of main thoroughfare, just off of the Way of the Dragon that comes off of the coast, or the high road rather. There's just a bunch of businesses all through here, different kinds. So you start walking down there. You see a little bit of everything here and there. You see a few shops with arcane glyphs as their signs. You assume probably having something to do with spells or magical items, things like that. You see one shop that has kind of not a bouquet, but kind
Hello.
of planted flowers. Hello?
Hello.
No, he's deafened. How
You
did
guys
you
hear me?
just deafen and not
Yep.
mute?
We can hear you. And he's gone again.
He was. I didn't even know you could do that. He deafened but was unmuted.
Huh.
It's like the I can't hear you game.
Deafen, undeafen. Nope, I have no control over that.
Nope.
There it goes.
There
Now
you
should
go.
hear us.
Hi.
Can we hear him? Hello.
He can hear us.
Okay. All right. So as you're going through, like I said, you're seeing shops of different kinds. You see one shop that has this kind of display of planted flowers and shrubs and such. You assume to be an apothecary. Lots of different places here. You just need to venture into them.
Okay. I guess the group wanted to look at the apothecary first, so we'll head there.
Okay.
Yeah, I want
That's
to make a
kinda-
couple stops.
Yeah.
So as you make your way into a shop here, the one that had the
All the flowers.
plants and such out in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to pull up my names of shops here. One second. I have about 37 notes. I gotta figure out which one I put it in, because I'm an organized person, really.
How's that working out for you?
It's not.
Look, I can't judge you, and I'm last minute over here sending you maps.
Yes, you are. All right, so I've got that. Trying to think of a shop name real quick. Okay,
Golden Wheel.
The Golden Wheel. All right, so the first place you go into, this apothecary. As you move inside of it, you see all the normal, sorts of goods. You see potted plants here and there, vials and potion pots and such all around you, containing different ingredients, as well as a few potions. Some of which you recognize, but even more you don't. As you're moving in, you see a young woman who turns around. You see that she appears to be a half elf, rather, turning towards you. With that, she slowly bows her head towards you as she looks amongst the group and says, "Welcome. My name is Mael. What can I do for you today?"
Hopefully, you can provide us with no wares required. Yeah, continue to fight on these dragons.
With that, she tilts her head to the side. "Fighting dragons, are you?"
Agreed. We've seen it, or there's motion with dragons. We've been confronted by the cult, and we've been tasked with stopping them. We could use whatever
right now
assistance
it's
you can.
just shopping. But then we're gonna head
With
out
that,
on
you
the
see her
road.
kind of
Shouldn't be too long. with
nodding
the
towards
shopping.
you and looking amongst you once again. She says, "Well, you do appear to have seen your share of battle and such. I have heard some gossip, I suppose, of things happening outside the city walls." She kind of shudders a bit. "Terrible rumors, I suppose, but if they are true, well..." She thinks for a moment, starts looking around. "Do you have anything in particular? I'm afraid to say I've never fought with any dragons, so I'm not sure exactly what it is you would be needing for that."
They attack not only with their teeth and claws, but with breath weapons as well. The different colors denote the different nature of the beasts, and we need to find a way to protect ourselves from martial combat as well as elemental combat.
With that, she nods, as I may have something for that. One moment, please. And with that, she turns around, and you see her going through a few cabinets and cupboards, and she walks over to another place to get some drawers open. With that, she starts going through and looking through a few different potions.
I wanna produce the writ, you know what I mean, and show it, but I don't want to feel like I'm flexing, you know what I mean? I just be like, look, if you got anything in reserve, like, this is all legit. Like, we really need your assistance.
Now is the time.
I mean, you can. That's definitely an option for you.
Yeah,
To be fair, I think this whole campaign is just us flexing.
I know, but like,
I'm not flexing.
not trying to.
I'm just
I
here
don't
for
want
some
to.
health potions.
Yeah, I'm basically going to
Lots
just say that,
of
like,
health
you know,
potions.
unfortunately, not to put your mind at ease, but to confirm the rumors of what's, been going. We've been charged by the council, this council. I'm sure you recognize at least a few names on there.
Okay, so with that, she's searching through, and you show her the writ, and she says, "Oh, well, that changes things, I suppose, a bit. You'll understand if I can't give away these items. I do have to make a living, but..."
No, we'll pay more full market price. I just want us to be on this. The money's not an option. We just need any and all available resources from you. Perhaps the reserve list.
With that, she nods once again, says, "Of course. In that case, if money's not an option..." She turns around. You see her going, opening up a large cupboard in the back. You see there's kind of a bit of dust sitting on the side of it that she wipes away quickly and opens the cupboard across this glass door across it. And you see her reaching in, grabbing a few more things. As she comes back, as I open up my 400 tabs of stuff, Give me a second so I can get prices. All right. With that, she sets. Roll me. How do I? Been smart if I opened all this beforehand. Roll me 4 d10s, Willie.
Ooh, 4 d10s.
1, 7, 10. Okay. So with that, she pulls several potions out and sets them up in front of you. As you're looking across them, you recognize a couple of them. You see that she has
Fancy.
8 regular
friend.
healing potions, as well as 5
5
graders,
months in a row.
sitting before her.
Much appreciated.
Alongside those, you see 5 more potions. The 4 of them that you're looking over, not quite recognizing them fully. She points out, says, "You did mention elements. I don't have a lot of them. They do require hard to obtain materials, but I do have a few here. This one here," she points to one with this kind of green flowing mass inside of it, resists against any kind of acidic materials. She points to the next one, says, "This one will save you from poison. Sought out actually quite often. I have a few of these." With that, she moves to the next one. You see kind of a red-orange blob floating in the center of it. She says, "This one, fire." And the last, she points to it. "This one will help against attacks of the mind." And with that, she moves over and she says, "Well, you said money was not an option, or not a thing to
I
be
want
worried
the one
about."
that
And she
protects
points to
me
this one.
against
This one
mental attacks.
has a good deal of magic imbued inside of it. I've never used one myself, but the formulae depicts that it will make it very difficult to lay any damage upon you by whatever means. She basically describes a potion of invulnerability.
I'm kind of looking. Are there any more healing potions on page Terra here? We're trying to stock up on those in particular. As far as the rest, we'll take all of them.
Yeah, what did she say the first 8 potions were?
There were 8 regular potions of healing and then 5 greater. And as you asked, she says, "Unfortunately, this is everything I have in my stocks.
She has really good stuff.
I've been selling them off and on to adventurers for years now, and right now I happen to be kind of low on them."
What would your ask be for all of them?
With that, she tallies up everything here. So 900 for the healing potions. Just taking notes. The potions of resistance are gonna be
Oh yes.
Origin.
When we finished our last little run through this dungeon that
And
we
the
went
potion
to,
of invulnerability
we
is
sorted
going
out,
to be
and
one
almost
to
everybody
take by
got
itself.
something
So,
close to like 7,000 or
2,700
700 platinum each person, and we already had like a substantial cash sack already.
How many
but yeah,
platinum visas is that?
we got like 7
Is that total?
7,000
Okay.
or 700 platinum
I
off
will
of that one last mission.
Give
So
Willie 150 platinum.
pretty
Sorry,
good
Max.
stuff.
I'll give Max 150 platinum.
Could I ask for the full printout for that?
For everything you're getting.
Yeah.
See if
'cause I
I can
wanna-
scroll up and
I
find
wanna
that
throw.
total.
That way I can just get a running total. Put in my notes.
Mhm.
I was struggling to follow how we were writing that out.
Yeah, it was 635 platinum pieces per person, not including anything that we had gathered on our own up to that point. It was ridiculous.
Hey,
Thank you.
Stone Skull would like the psychic one, please.
Yeah, for sure.
And if I can request the fire, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Which one of those is a wisdom save?
Is that how we're gonna do? One greater apiece. Oh no, I don't need I don't need any greater.
I mean, I'm pretty okay on normal. Graders are what I care more about.
I have
I'm
two.
essentially out after that last set of fight.
Mhm.
Yeah, me too.
One regular. So
Yeah, I have 2 regular and no greater now.
yeah, I
Okay.
think we just split it up. One greater. That way we don't have to pass potions around mid battle.
Yeah.
Let's just split it up evenly.
Okay.
Let's take like whoever wants to take one of my greater like Stone Skull, somebody with a deeper HP pool. You know,
Oh, the greater? Yeah, give it to
yeah,
Stone
because I don't
Have
need
him
it.
take 2 instead
I've
of
got-
1.
Okay.
I got healing spells.
And then Willie still take 2 normal potions.
Yeah, those are never bad to have.
And then, yeah, remember somebody. I'll write it down for Damien when he gets here.
So my
So, Ignali, you're taking a
my
potion of
Goliath,
resistance
my
to fire.
fighter barbarian.
I'll take the acid and poison.
Okay. He has a pet bear, and after killing the red dragon last session, we descaled it, and we are making red dragon armor.
Potion and vulnerability.
for
That's the interesting
bear.
one.
That's how much money we have to throw around.
What
think
does
I
that one do?
dropped
Just
some
completely makes you
ungodly amount
invulnerable?
of platinum on it.
Yeah.
I think that should go to Stone Skull.
Do we know how long it works?
Oh,
1 hour.
1 hour.
What?
For invulnerability? Is that what that was?
Oh wait, no, invulnerability is
No,
1
1 minute. Yeah.
The resistance
Yeah,
is
it's 1 minute, and you have resistance to all damage.
Yeah.
For this next hour, I'm a god.
hmm
I mean, I would say Stone Skull. Or maybe
I mean,
Damien.
well, keep in mind that Stone Skull already has resistance, and resistance
Yeah, for
is
raging
Mhm.
won't stack.
Yeah, but it's all damage. Stone Skull doesn't have resistance to all damage. He likes
It
to
is.
think he
I
does.
have
Everything with
resistance
psychic.
to all damage except psychic. That's it.
Okay, then
Yeah.
we'll give that one to.
So
we can give
your,
that one to Steve.
your economy here is not best used on Stone Skull.
No.
All right, then give it to Steve. He gets up in the stuff, or Ignalia.
Either or.
I think Ignalia.
Or give it to Steve. Just let me know, and I'll add it to his inventory.
Well, if you're doing his inventory, he gets 1 greater potion and 2 regular potions.
I added the 2
Two
greater.
regular.
Do I add any of the regular? Or do you guys
Yeah,
want
you
those?
get 2 regular.
Two
so-
regular.
The 2 regular? Okay.
2 greater.
No, he gets 1 greater, 2 regular.
1 greater. Oh, 1
It's
greater.
so good.
1 greater.
And he's a
Why
cavalier
is that grayed
fighter,
out?
so like extra resistance and then being able to protect
I
the
was
party,
confused.
he's like
No,
a
actually,
super tank.
For whatever reason, I already have a
That
potion
rides
of
at
psychic resistance, so
Cave
I'm just
Bear
going to
Mount.
give that to you, Stone Skull.
Oh, here it is. So 2
what's
What
that?
other potions do I have?
Something about a potion of resistance.
Yeah, I already had a psychic resistance potion, so I'm going to give you that too, so you're doubled up.
Okay.
Yeah. I have 1 cold resist, 1 poison resist, and 1 spell scroll of protection from energy.
Nice.
And I also have that.
I also have an orb of dragon fire breath, so that's a thing.
And I have.
Zorn,
Wait,
do
no,
wanna
you have.
hold on?
You have the
What?
cold one, don't you?
No, I have the cold one.
Yeah, I have the fire.
We
The
swapped
one
them
there,
around
poison.
last
Oh,
time.
right. We had 2 fire, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got 2 or 3.
Yeah,
Didn't-
'cause
wasn't
I
there a
grabbed-
poison one or something.
Because one of them came to me. The fire came to me, and then I dropped the ice one to Ignalia, I think.
And I was handed a fire one.
Mhm.
I thought there was another one, wasn't there? Or was there only 3?
I think it was just the 2 that we picked up, plus the one that we already had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zorn,
Chaplain.
which of these scrolls do you want? There's gaseous form, haste, protection from energy, chain lightning, disintegrate, water breathing, wall of fire, and hold monster.
Ooh,
It should
hold
be.
monster.
That was a lot. I already have a
Havoc.
protection from energy.
Havoc, remind me. Do we have to know the spell already, or I know it has to be on our list.
It has to be on your list if it's something that's not on your spell list or something, or not in your prepared spells, or something of a higher level. Well, no, it's only if it's a higher level you have to do a DC check.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so definitely nothing we already know. You and me both already know protection from energy. I already know a couple of those. I don't know. Which ones?
I actually don't know protection from energy. I mean,
Oh, you don't?
have absorb elements, but not the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Okay. And you already know haste.
Yeah, I do know haste.
So, what would you like? I would recommend you take hold monster.
Because that's on my spell list in the future.
You.
It's
It's a level 5 spell. You should already have access to those.
Yeah, I do.
Mhm.
So I'll take hold monster then.
Okay, yeah, write that down. You also want Wall of Fire, because I know that intrinsically anyway.
Sure. I'm not sure when I'm going to use these, but
Well, at least you'll have the option.
We should just dog ear that part of your notes and just say, refer to this anytime we see a dragon. Anything in here.
See, dragon. Wait, I have enough for this.
yeah, it's just a bag, and it's called the dragon bag, and I just reach my hand in there and pull one out.
Break in case of dragons. I'm like, yeah. All right. Hit 'em, boys.
And choose 1 or 2.
1.
Alright, fantastic. You have level 6 spells?
I think I do.
You should, because you're ahead of me.
Yes, I just got them.
Cool, take a scroll of chain lightning.
Okay. This is definitely the dragon bag.
I'm keeping the scroll of disintegrate.
And I can use all of these, just not
Yeah.
proficiently, because I don't know them.
I don't think proficiency has anything to do with casting a spell.
Mm-mm.
I didn't understand the explanation, because I was yelling
These
at them.
these are what we rated from the swag bag of Aratar.
Yeah, I mean,
that-
can I use all of
Rathator.
these?
Yeah, you know, big white guy.
That's.
What?
I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
you can use the scroll to cast the spell once.
Okay, so there will be no problems.
Yeah, there's no problem if you can cast a spell of that level, and I already checked that these spells are on our class list.
Okay. And protection of it from energies on our class list, too.
So we're just done with the phrasing, right? That's
Pretty sure.
not
I'll
a
double
thing
check right
anymore?
now because I was definitely.
Psycho
thinking of
Fishy, thank you for
Because
the
if-
follow. Much appreciated.
Yeah, if that's not that might be on your paladin spell list. I don't know.
Nope. 3rd level protection from energy.
Okay, cool. All right, then I'll hold on to that one too. Or the
I mean-
one I have. You have one too.
Okay. Yeah, because the difference is protection from energy is concentration 1 hour instead of 1 reaction.
Yeah. if we know we're about to go into a dragon.
Yeah, it's better than the potions of specific resistance we just bought.
Gotcha.
Okay. So where's the potion of invulnerability going?
You or Damien?
I'm fine letting Damien have it if he thinks he'll actually stay around combat. Because, he's a disengager, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's plenty of AoE stuff we're going to be going against, and he doesn't disengage far.
True.
I mean, I think it should be for Ignalia. I mean, if you get turned on, that's an easy answer.
I mean, I'll clearly go just buck wild if I'm invulnerable for a minute.
Yeah,
you're
for
vulnerable.
sure.
You're going to get hasted, too.
Yeah.
True.
There you go.
Yeah, then you take it.
Alright.
This is why I need to go buy us a guild hall. I need a realtor.
Mm-hmm. Can maybe find a realtor within the trade ward.
You were searching one out last time.
Mm-hmm. We don't have a headquarters
So I have a
yet,
book
so
of homebrewed magic items, and I couldn't find it, and I couldn't figure out why. Well, I bought it off DM's Guild, and I apparently bought it under my Facebook account and not my gaming account, where all my other stuff is. So I just never downloaded it. So I'm going through looking at all the magic items now. Finally,
Excellent.
re-downloaded it.
Oh. I can share it around later, but I bought a Humble Bundle the other day, which is like 300 generic maps.
nice.
Wait, maps? You said?
It was like maps and low-level adventures, and
I'm kind of interested in that myself.
I like maps. Oh, was that the Humble Bundle you showed me, or was that somebody else? No, somebody else showed me a Humble Bundle. Was it recently?
Yeah.
it was like the last 4 days.
Yeah, there was one that somebody showed me, and I freaking meant to buy it. All right. Are y'all done inside the apothecary and gonna move on, or you got more stuff?
Unless she has anything in the back she's not telling us about.
With that, she kind of shrugs, says, I have plenty of items. Just you have to be a bit more specific. I mean, I have. You? I have potions that will allow you to try to see through the future. Potions that will allow you to climb easier. Ones that will cure diseases. Ones that could help a farm grow, a farmland grow.
I just sigh at that.
I wonder
How does
if
the
any of
farmland drink a potion?
I
you
wonder.
drink the potion and you use the magic it imbues you with, you see, to cast a certain spell that allows you to do so.
Are there any that allow us to teleport places? Because that would be great.
Potions of teleportation, unfortunately, do not have anything like that.
Oh.
She kind of looks at you a bit quizzically. She's like, does that even exist?
I don't know. It just sounded good.
Terror.
Neat.
Tara's
Sounds like it'd be hard to get a hold of.
Tara's going to cast Far Step and teleport behind Stone Skull and say, I don't know why we would even need that Stone Skull.
You're right. We have you for that. Can you teleport us to Tiamat's abode? Whatever he calls his abode. Oh. Well, then that doesn't serve the purpose that I want.
I think that would be much stronger magic than a potion, Stone Skull.
He doesn't understand magic, so he just kind of shakes his head. No, I think I've got this.
Well, they're talking about the basics of magic.
You do.
I'm gonna ask the apothecary if she has like a single nice big red flower.
A red flower.
A single red flower that she thinks, I think I may have some of those. And with that, she turns around. You see her opening a window up above her
Yes.
head. And when she opens it up, you see a small kind of inset or outset, I guess. Outside the window, kind of the shelf leading to the outside, surrounded by glass. And you see her moving some plants out of the way, and then she reaches up, and you see her say, "Ah, yes," and she pulls out this red flower. She says, "It's a," she thinks for a moment. "I think it's called a blood rose, if I remember correctly. Very pretty. Not anything I can use in my my goods, unfortunately, but it's nice to look at."
Very nice to look at. How much would you like for it?
Totally nice to look at.
With that, she kind of shrugs, says, "I really had it for decoration, and since it was, you can even see in the kind of dim light of it being, almost dark outside and only having sconces inside here, it's almost glowing with this red light. Not actually glowing, but it's just very bright red." She says it was really something just to catch people's eyes walking behind the shop. A silver piece, I think. It's taken a few months to grow, so that would pay for the time I've had to nurture it and such.
Oh, well, that sounds more than reasonable. I'll put down 3 silver and just give that to her for the rose.
That she smiles and says, "Thank you very much."
You should grow more of them. They're quite nice.
With that, she nods. Says, "I do have some more of its seeds lying about. I think I'll do that."
I will take my flower and wait by the door for everyone else.
Imagine we're packing the bag full.
Yes.
Thank her for her time again, and then head back out into the street.
With that, she nods. Says, "Feel free to stop by anytime. Once again, I'm Mael. This is my small shop. Please stop by if you have anything else you're requesting."
So we will. Thank you for your help.
All right. And you head out of this little shop with no name and head out into the city again.
I'm gonna jab Max as we leave the establishment. Are you always so nervous talking to girls?
So, yeah, that's it's a lack of confidence, self-confidence.
That might be the funniest thing you've ever said.
Is it because you look like, what did you call him, Stone Skull? A giant lizard?
I didn't call him a giant lizard, but pretty apt description.
So as you're looking down the street, what are y'all looking for next? Magic? You looking for smithies? What are y'all looking for?
Realtors.
I need an armor.
I'm looking for just a clothing shop.
All right. You're able to find one clothing shop within the vicinity called the Quick Imp. You see a couple of magic shops based on that. One called the Champion's Scroll, another called Pandora.
Oh,
And then you have
Not ominous at all.
what else did y'all say? Clothing shop, magic,
Realtor.
There's a couple places run by the homeowner and taverns guild within the vicinity as well that you can go and look about purchasing property.
Yeah, we'll go there after shopping.
Just to say, though, if we really want to own some land, we should probably leverage our position. I mean, with station, I imagine land comes fairly easily.
I'm not opposed to waving the writ around. Max is the only one who ever seems to have a moral issue with it.
which is troubling.
Tara just shrugs.
Everyone needs a base of operations.
It's true. I think that we are going to be attracting a lot of attention, and bringing that attention here to Waterdeep is not necessarily the best idea.
I don't know what that has to do with me owning a home.
The people are safer here than they are outside of these walls.
Yeah, there's nothing more fortified than here aside from maybe Candlekeep. So why not here?
No. My thought is, we're still putting lives at risk. Take the fight somewhere away from the place of fortification.
I mean, we don't really have to announce that that's where we're staying. They haven't seemed to attack the palace that
They
we've been
just killed
sleeping
the Grigsbys the day ago. Looking for they've tracked us to Waterdeep at least.
I mean, this is true, but we can't really stop them from doing that. Unless we want to find a way to hide how we move.
That was my thought.
I mean, then I would go with that. But this isn't a fight we will win. You know, we're going to need everyone on the council and so on to be involved if we really want to do this.
Yeah, and I don't think they're ballsy enough to openly attack in Waterdeep.
Mm-mm.
No. So, I mean, if anything, we try to hide our excursions elsewhere and make it seem as if we remain here.
So yeah, confined to the wall. I like it. Okay.
So yeah, still purchasing that house.
Yeah, let's do it.
So going to the realtor next, or
I think we were doing the magic items first. So. Clothing, armor, back.
Mm-hmm.
No. And at some point when we're at the end of that Havoc, I'll run off to the tailor.
Okay. Alright.
Is a tailor and a clothing guy the same?
Doesn't have to be, but maybe.
Probably.
Alright, magic items first then.
Alright, so you have a couple shops in front of you, like I said, Pandora and the Champion Scroll are the two shops that you see. Not right next to each other, kind of up the street, but definitely seem to have magical items based on what you're seeing through the windows.
Well,
What do they
obviously,
look like?
obviously we should go to Pandora because
Yeah, clearly. Would that mean we have to go to
with that
Pandora?
kind of name.
But Champion Scroll also sounds like a place we should check
I was
out.
gonna say,
Yeah.
the Paladins will go to Champion Scroll.
Yeah, I'm like, just throwing it out there. I'm feeling kind of champion-y today.
So just go to both of them, it's fine.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And we split the party and go
Cleaning
to
out
two
Waterdeep.
different places.
Alright, so where are you starting?
Pandora.
Pandora. Okay.
Yeah, we got to open up our boxes in there.
Giggity
Feels like
boxes.
the closer, but alright.
Alright, so as you make your way towards this shop, one notable thing that you see about this shop is that it does have the normal kind of brown reddish hue wood that you see on most of the buildings of this place, all kind of constructed out of the same material, but you see every other plank on this building is painted just starch black, almost like you're looking into a tunnel or something. Every time you look at this, it's a very dark paint that they used on this. As you make your way inside, you hear the familiar sound of a door chime going off above your head, making your way in, and you hear in the distance, yes, 1 second. As you all start looking around this room, you see odds and ends of all kinds. You see items, everything from boots to cloaks to armor to staves, or staffs rather, small rods. You see anything you see. You see several bookshelves over on one wall holding scrolls and books and parchments. You see a few windowed cabinets that have potions inside of them, as well as vials of something inside them as well. You see a couple skulls and pieces of skeletons, different bones and such, sitting on tables set out for viewing. A little bit of everything. As you're looking around, you see the owner of this voice finally steps into this room. You see a bit of an old man, kind of hunched in his demeanor as he walks in, using a long staff, kind of as a walking cane as he moves forward. He says, yes, welcome to Pandora. What is it you're seeking today?
I think just putting the writ right in front of him as I speak. Say, we're here to acquire wares to take the fight for the people of Waterdeep against the Cult of the Dragon.
With that, he nods as he listens to you, kind of a sleepy look in his eye. He reads over and he says, yes, very noble cause you've got going for you, I suppose. Well, you have anything in particular in mind that you're seeking out, or should I just bring everything out for you?
as much as I'd like to tell him to bring everything out.
How
I don't know.
how much is all of the things that you have? Do you have a lot of things?
With that, he kind of looks up at Stone Skull, and you see him kind of a bit of mirth coming to his mouth as he laughs at you. He says, "Young man, I have quite a deal here. I've been at this trade for many years." With that, he kind of opens his arm, flourishing around the entire room. He says, "What you see here is not even half." And with that, he kind of motions behind him. You see several bags hanging on pegs, about 10 of them on the wall behind him. And with that, he walks back over to it, kind of shakily, once again leaning on his staff, and he leans his arm into one of the bags, and then you see his arm disappears all the way up to the shoulder, and then he pulls back out, and he pulls out this huge staff about 6 feet tall and holds it up. He says, "I have even more inside these bags of holding as well."
I just hold the bag of holding and put my arm into it and say, "Yes, what a truly unique item."
With that, he kind of raises an eyebrow. "Not that unique. That's why I use them for storage."
Fair point. Is the staff magical?
With that, he looks at it. He says, "Yeah, this whole thing, of course it is. Everything is magical here in my shop, my friend."
That's what I like to hear. Well, maybe we can take a look around, and instead of making you drag it all out, if you would care to give us a tour.
With that, he acquiesces, kind of lowering his head. He says, "Well, He looks around. He says, "A few of you can use magic, a couple of you not so much, but you could always benefit from some things of my..."
Right? Maybe it should be
some things that I own, I'm sure. Let's see. You're very..." Looking over at you, Ignalia said, "You're very courtly in your demeanor. Let's see, what could..." Dear.
I look over to Max. Am I courtly?
I just kind of, I grit my teeth and shake my head a little bit, don't say anything.
I smile through my teeth.
Pandora's the one I'm using for my book, so I can't quick search this shit.
That's how you broke it down. Very nice.
Yeah. With that, he kind of looks over again. He says, "I'm not sure. I can't tell much by just looking at you, of course. How do you fight, young man?"
Young man?
Ma'am.
Oh. Let me just say, I mainly, fire and brimstone? And I kind of just point towards my sword.
Fire and brimstone, you say?
I mean, I can kind of hold the sword out and do an example, incantation for a flame blade without actually using it.
That he watches and nods, says, "But it seems," and he kind of sees the way you're holding it. You're holding the sword a little bit away from you so it doesn't sear into you. It seems that you seem to be having some issues with your own weapons there. I think I may have something." He turns around. You see him moving back towards this large box behind him, and as he opens it, you're able to see that it's a jewelry box. You see a bunch of different rings, a couple amulets, some earrings in it as well. With that, he reaches down. He pulls out this ring that seems to be crafted from obsidian. It's just kind of solid jet black as he pulls it out, and he says, "Yes, this might help with that. This ring makes you less susceptible to fire, and also has some more benefits as well. And please do not see me as rude for saying so. It's not cheap."
No, little in the way of magic tends to be. Might I inspect it while you help with my friends?
With that, he nods. He says, "Of course." And with that, you see him waving 2 fingers in the air, and you all hear an audible click behind you. And as you look back at the door, you see that the door is now made of iron, and a large latch is slammed down onto it. He says, don't worry, just a precaution. You see, I have a business here, and some people get it into their minds that they can take and leave with things. But, of course, you wouldn't do anything like that. And with that, he holds out the ring to you, Ignalia.
I'll take the ring from him and say, oh, well, I was normally thinking, normally some kind of security exchange, and I hold out irony to say hello.
And what do we have here? It's an old man, Ignalia. What? He probably isn't going to hit me. And with that, you see the man kind of quizzically looking at it. A talking shield. How adorable.
We have...
No, that won't be necessary, young man.
Literally adorable.
Oh,
give
so
him
good.
inspiration. I demand it.
All right, so with that, he starts looking around at the rest of you. As well,
we have a talking door, or
a
sentient shield that was made from a sentient iron door.
Unless I know more about you, or if you have anything in particular
That's the
you're
pun.
looking for, it's hard for me to tell you. I can point you out to different things, I suppose, but that could be a bit time-consuming.
We kind of step forward and say, well, the armor that I'm wearing is had great use and clearly well crafted. The fights ahead of us are going to require something stronger. Anything that'll make me either more resilient in battle or protect me greater. That's what I'm interested in.
Okay. One second, let me scroll back to armor. No, come back. Shit.
Huh. Come back.
Let's see here. What kind of armor are you wearing currently?
Half plate.
Half plate. Alright, so I gotta look at the heavier stuff. Let's see.
Well, that's why I went paladin. Be able to fight. Be a holy warrior. I just don't want to be holy, like, not HOLY, but, punctured full of holes.
I'm also having to read these to make sure they're not completely overpowered, and if they are, making sure they're rare enough that I can charge you a shit ton of money for them. And there's some fun leather armors, but nothing. Hide. That's useless for you.
That's useless. Man, the shopkeeper, no. Terrible, garbage, no.
That's fun. Alright, so with that, he starts moving around. He says, armor to protect you. He kind of takes note of your half-plate armor, nodding to it. It says something along that ilk. Maybe this one. And as he reaches over, you initially thought it was just a set of lights, but you see that there's a set of half-plate armor sitting on the wall that seems to have this, blackish, dark bluish hue to it, with sprinklings of almost looks like stars set into it. And with that, he pulls it out and he says, this armor is... he kind of knocks on it with one knuckle, letting out a metal tin as he does so. He says, this armor is, I suppose, fairly more than adequate for taking a hit, but it also does more whenever you take a hit. He kind of points to one of the pinpricks of light that you see. His hand actually kind of snuffs out the light very briefly before he moves it back. And then with that, he turns around and you see him grab a letter opener dagger from behind him, and he strikes against the armor. And as he does so, right in the vicinity of where he hit it, you see he has his eyes closed, but the light flares, little star pinpricks flares from the armor into bright light, all of you having to kind of shield your eyes from it. And he says, when someone strikes the armor, it also has a little bit of effect as well on that.
That's beautiful. Does it, I kind of like move forward to see if it fits, like already geeked out. I want to try it on at least, and then ask him as I'm putting it on, how much is it?
With that, he says, that's not cheap, unfortunately. This is very rare armor, you see. I couldn't part with it for any less than, 45,000 gold.
450 platinum.
No.
Is there a layaway
45,000.
For what?
Wait, 45,000? Oh,
Yes.
I misheard that. Wow.
So, like, is there a payment program we could talk about?
$45,000 for what?
A set of armor.
Oh.
Max immediately reaches down and pulls the rip back out. You remember this? You remember this?
No, unfortunately, I don't have 45,000 gold, so I'm not getting that. How about anything less flashy?
With that, he kind of shrugs, and you see him moving back over and hanging the armor back on the wall. Says, I have a few more, I suppose, mundane pieces of armor, and that he walks over to the other side of the room, and you see him pulling a large wardrobe aside, the doorway aside, rather. Hey, Steve's here.
Hey.
Boop. There we go. Welcome, Steve.
Hello.
Hola.
With that, he goes through, and you see just several suits and sets of armor, ranging from everything from hide to leather to full plate armor to chainmail and such. Pretty much everything you go through. And with that, he says these are all made and imbued with some resistance magic of some kind or another. All of them giving about the same properties, not nearly as exciting as the other ones, but I suppose just for something simple, they would suffice. Basically pointing out they're all +1 armor.
That would be a significant upgrade from what I'm working with currently. No, I just kind of point, I'll take that one, pick the one in like the middle. Looks the coolest.
Okay. Yeah, you end up picking out a piece that has some, normally you would expect kind of like gold filigree inlaid to it, but this is all black, going through it and kind of whirling designs and such across it. You said half plate or?
Half plate, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so basically he pulls it out, and like I said, you see this black lines going down in such of, the filigree adorning the armor rather.
Yeah.
And holds it out towards you. It seems like it would fit you. You see him kind of motioning towards the leather straps on the sides. It can be adjusted, of course. You're a bit larger than the last one who wore this, I'm sure.
It's probably accurate.
Arm. How many tabs can I open tonight? That is the question. +1 armor is...
More like a G.
Where's my... There it is. He thinks about it for a moment. This being a bit more mundane, I can't, of course, charge as much for it. I'd say 1,500 gold pieces.
I want to have a I have a deal to propose to you, sir.
What is that?
We're going to be heading and confronting multiple dragons, as we've done already. That seems to be where we're headed. If, I don't know if you've ever seen a dragon's hoard, but it's more money than we could possibly carry. Should we come across, if you either drastically lower the prices or loan this equipment to us for free, we will give you exclusive rights and directions to the dragon's hoard, so you can collect it all yourself.
With that, he thinks for a moment and then kind of shrugs, says, I'm not really in the business of going out and collecting things. Most people just bring them to me, you see, and kind of motions around the room once again. I have a good business set up here to charge my prices, and I think they're fair, personally. And while your cause is noble, as the writ that you so quickly showed me did display, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to lower the prices for you.
Well, you could also loan us a bag of holding. One that we'll use exclusively for, reclaiming said hoard. Single bag could hold, dozens of thousands in gold alone.
With that, he thinks and says, I suppose it could be an investment. And he kind of motions back at the bags of holding just sitting on the wall. You've got to realize they've been relegated, magical bags that can hold, a shit ton of stuff. He's using them to hold knickknacks in the back. He's like, I have a few of these laying around not doing anything. I suppose I could loan you one.
Yeah. Just my suggestion. That is one way that we could ensure we get as much of the hoard as possible.
Mm-hmm.
With that, he thinks and shrugs, says, I suppose. And of course, if you do bring back anything worthwhile, then of course trades could be made for other items in here. I'm always happy to procure new interesting magical items by whatever means necessary, whether that be with gold or with other shiny new things.
I will hold out the ring back to him after very, very intensely looking at it.
With that, he smiles and puts it back into the ring box, shutting it with a bit of a loud clack as he looks over and says, does anybody have anything particular you're looking for? If not, I could offer a few more items. Maybe a little bit more mundane, I suppose.
I want something that makes me stronger.
Something that makes you stronger.
I look over at Tara and say, like that belt she has around her waist.
Let's see. Can't scroll. Rods, can't use rods, can't use staffs. Wands, those are not helpful. Oh, here we go. Let's see.
Yee. I certainly did.
That'd be fun. With that, he thinks, says, I may have something. Let me head to the back. Otherwise, well, let me think. Goliath. You're very... Oh, and with that, he kind of motions to the back room. Go back there under that table there. Yeah, don't mess with the fire there. Go underneath that, yes. Down there, there is some boots. Very large ones that I can't find anybody that can fit into them. They may interest you. And with that, he kind of motions over to where you see a table with the fire that's just sitting on the table and burning. Table doesn't look burned or anything, but fire's just sitting there.
Fire, yeah.
With that, he points down below it, and you see a very large set of boots with this kind of brownish color to them, but then you see the bottom of them are almost completely made out of metal. And with that, he turns around and disappears through a doorway behind him.
Interesting.
What do you think, Stone Skull? Are they too big?
I'm not sure. Picks them up. I imagine they're maybe his size or bigger.
They look like they're gonna fit your feet.
Okay.
Maybe not a perfect fit, but
Mhm.
definitely just short of like a giant could wear these. And as you're looking at them and you start to pick them up, you notice that they're considerably heavy.
Ooh.
Not to the point of being cumbersome, but they are far heavier than the ones that you're currently wearing.
Interesting. I'm gonna pick them up and bring them out into the main part of the room with the others. Pumped up
Man,
kicks.
this is obnoxious. There it goes. Okay. Message from one of y'all popped up on my screen in the bottom right, wouldn't go away. So with that, as you're picking them up, kind of hoisting them across the room, you can all see that Stone Skull's kind of struggling a bit, leaning to one side, carrying these two boots over, and as he sets them down on the ground, they both make heavy thuds as they hit onto the wooden floor. As that's happening, the man comes back into the room. He says, yes, you've got them. Yeah, quite heavy, aren't they? And with that, he holds up this belt. He says, I think this might be what you're looking for. Very somewhat ghastly implements. You have to suck out the soul of giants to make one of these, but I do have one in stock currently. I believe it was made from a stone giant's soul.
Sure, can I have it?
And with that, he says, of course. It will be... with that, he holds up a 2 and then a 5. He says, 25,000 gold pieces.
25,000?
Yes.
Oh. And how much for these boots? What do the boots do, actually?
With that, he's looking at him. He says, I've never been able to wear them, obviously. You see him kind of leaning over and looking down at his, old man feet. He says, but in divining what they are, or identifying rather what they could do, it seems that they have an effect to strike the ground very hard, I suppose, for a lack of a more delicate way of saying so. It seems that they can almost crush the ground beneath their feet and send a shockwave out from them. Very useful in the middle of a battle, I assume. Not very useful sitting on my floor, though.
And how much for these?
With that, he shrugs. They're just collecting dust, so I suppose I could get rid of them for, say 4,500 gold.
Okay, I'll think about it. He's going to think about this for quite some time before making a decision.
Okay.
What would you want for 1 or 2
Everything
bags of
is
holding?
Very, very overpriced here. Very overpriced.
1 second. I gotta DM everybody's stuff. That. Bags of holding, you say? He says, I have a few extras, I suppose. I could part with them for, say 300 gold piece each.
Excellent. I'll take 2.
With that, he nods, and you see him turn around and unhooks 2 of them from the back wall, and you see he's just turns them over and dumps out. You see all matters of knickknacks, some sheets fall out, a couple robes, as well as a couple cloaks fall out as well. And he just shakes them out on the floor, and with that, he's kind of shakes him a few more times, looking at him. You see him tilting the bag up, one of the bag above his head, looking into it. He says, I think they're clean now. Here. With that, he holds out both the bags of holding to you.
I take that as a prominent display that they work, and just count out and hand him
I think the
60 platinum.
I think the boots are custom creations from a book.
With that, he takes the money, slipping it over into another bag of holding he has down below him, shoveling it all into it, and he nods and says, yes. Anyone else looking for anything in particular?
How about some wands?
He says, wands, ooh. And with that, he turns around and another cabinet on the wall. He opens it up, and you see that it's been custom fitted to just hold racks upon racks of wands. And with that, he turns around and kind of opens his arms wide. I have plenty of wands. As I scroll back to the wand section. Oh, shit, too far. Any particular effects you're looking for, or should I just start listing some things off?
Something to dispel or counter magic, as well as anything with, I don't know if you have it, but anything to do with healing. Not so much the arcane.
He starts looking through things. Says, I have a few here that can do. Says, I have a few here that replenish other charges and wands. I have one here that will cause people to wet their pants. I have one here that casts silence, or something along those lines at least. He's looking through a few more. I have ones that can cause woe on your enemy. I don't think I have any that cause any healing, unfortunately.
How about anything with electricity?
Says electricity, I'm not sure. I know this one, he points to one. He says, this is the Wand of Thunderclaps. It allows you to cast a spell called Thunderwave from it. Not quite the same, I'm sure, but still useful in its own way. He points at another one. He says, this one... trying to think of the word. This one has an ability to change the way whenever you cast spells. It augments what you can do with them. Of different varying types, fire, acid, cold, lightning, or thunder, things of that nature. Makes them more effective if you use this wand as a focus while casting these spells.
Ooh,
But nothing that casts electricity, unfortunately. Those are somewhat boring, unfortunately. I have more unique items here.
No, I don't think you have I think I'm all set.
You're all getting the very distinct impression that while he does have a few kind of mundane things here and there, he doesn't focus on that. He has more specialized items and such.
Yeah, any
pricey.
Any suggestions, for dragon fighting?
Dragon fighting.
I think we should go to the
other
magic vendor.
Says, I don't know about anything specific to dragon fighting, but I do have a few items that could very much make fighting them easier. He points over to one of the staffs over in a corner on a rack. He says, that's a staff of retaliation. Anytime you take any element damage, such as from a dragon's breath weapon, it will allow you to take less damage for it and redirect it back towards them on your next attack against them.
That's interesting.
That's silly.
He's gonna just kind of whisper under her breath to Max, "That's not that great. The fire dragon we fought didn't give a shit about my flames."
Yeah. I was thinking, or something, should we need it for someone else, but I can't think of actually getting any use from that.
With that, he says, "Oh, it doesn't augment their abilities. It makes you more powerful. You absorb the damage you would have taken. You're able to use it in your own way."
Oh, Tara, like what you do, right? Yeah.
I think Tara's
Unfortunately, I
connection issues.
can't use that staff. But if anyone else is interested, it could be valuable. How much is it, sir? That'll probably be the determining factor. I'll just make a gut check. What you think? Just spitball.
Spitball, yeah, sure. He thinks for a moment, says, it's not that unique, I suppose. I've seen a few of them in my day.
Not that unique.
I'd say 4,000 gold pieces would suffice.
I'm gonna spend that kind of coin. I'd rather get you hooked up. Sounds cool.
Specialized. I would rather have specialized stuff, something that we know we need.
Any other suggestions?
Well,
No.
most importantly, we know the shop exists, so we can always come back if we need to prepare.
And then when we do, you can get your armor.
I like
With that, he thinks once again. He says, "Well, you were asking about healing before, and I don't have any wands that do that, but..." With that, he walks over.
Yeah.
You see him opening the other door.
sent
There's
me
two
the
doors to the back of the
description.
room. He opens it up, and you see, as he
Okay.
opens it up, there's light shining out of there, and you're able to see into the back room. You see, initially, you think people were standing stock still back there, but then you see that there's nothing but mannequins holding various garbs and garments and such across them. With that, he walks over to one that you can see unwrapping a belt from it. And with that, he walks back in here. He says, "This one, I believe, was used in one of the last great wars, something along those lines. It's somewhat old, but still does the job. It's a medic's belt, one that used to be very prominent, but I suppose they've been lost to time
Interesting.
or been destroyed, I'm not sure. But it allows you to..." Thanks for a moment. Well, you know what potions of healing are, I'm sure. They
Mhm.
essentially, maybe slightly less potent as a potion of healing, but they allow you to heal in the thick of combat if need be.
I like that.
How so? How does that work?
With that, he kind of says, "Well, you put the belt around your waist to spend some time getting to know its ins and outs, of course. It's not a regular old magic item that can be used willy-nilly, but this item allows you to simply touch someone, and or yourself, of course, and allows you to spend... has a few charges stored into it that refresh every day, that allows you to heal up wounds and illnesses and stuff."
That's actually pretty good. That would be a
How
good
much
one.
is that? I feel like we could use that.
With that, he says, "Well, you've barely looked at anything, and I need you to buy something. I suppose I can knock off a bit here. 1,500 gold for this."
Sold.
Sold.
Yay.
Finally bought something.
We have a
Yeah.
Make a deal!
we have a deal.
All right. Let me copy this down real quick. Essentially, he is selling you a medic's belt, which,
See? That's what I
while
said.
wearing it,
Something
does
very
require
useful.
attunement. It is a wondrous item. But once you're attuned to it, you have advantage on medicine checks, and you have 3 charges, which are renewed each day at dawn. Using an action, you can spend 1 or more charges to channel positive energy and heal damage with a touch. The effects are 1 charge deals 2d8 points of damage, 2 3d points of damage, and 3 charges is 48 points of damage.
That's actually pretty good. That's pretty solid.
All right, I'll fix the formatting in a little bit. And that's going to Max. Boop. All right, there you go.
This guy doesn't carry armor, does he?
He has some. Yeah, he has some armor.
No, I'll just ask him, do you have anything that looks like it would be an upgrade over this, and just tap what I'm wearing.
What are you wearing?
I am wearing my smoldering plate armor that I'm not attuned to anymore.
There we go. Formatting fixed, maybe.
Oh, nice. Hey, that did it live while I was looking at it.
Hey, nice. All right. So let's see. Go all the way back up. It says custom armor in it too. Let's see. Heavy armor. With that, he thinks, I have a few things here and there, some exotic pieces of armor from different places. Let's see. What's your current AC?
That's not a question I like to ask. It's 21.
21. You have 18 from full plate.
2 shield, 1 from defensive style.
Okay. With that, he thinks for a moment. He says, I may have something, not as flashy as what you have here, but very functional. With that, he moves over to the same armor cabinet where he had retrieved the half plate from Max, and pulls out another set, and you see him kind of hefting it up a bit, struggling a bit with this heavy plate armor. You see it's not bronze, but it's not quite as bright as gold across it. You see there's kind of intricate designs, but very blocky in their composition across this. And with that, he walks back over to the counter and sets it down with a heavy thud. He says, this armor was created by some master dwarves some time ago, I'm sure. I think they were worn by some king or another, but definitely something that they were very proud of. With that, he kind of describes it in and out. It's essentially full plate armor called dwarven plate. It has the same characteristics of regular plate armor. Weighs a bit more, I think. How much does regular plate armor weigh? Armor.
50, I think.
Yeah, it's like 50 or 60 pounds. It's heavy.
Yeah, so this one weighs 75 pounds, a little bit heavier. Requires you to have a 16th strength to wear it.
Oh, I got that.
Okay. And it is a +1 piece of armor.
This is standard dwarven plate, you said?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, standard +1. So essentially give you 19 AC with it.
Oh, because normal dwarven plate is +2.
Is that something in there already?
It's in.
Well, it's a normal item.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Like it's weird because it's not like plate +2. It's just dwarven plate, and its specialty is +2 additional to AC.
Yeah, no, it's just +1 plate armor essentially, but not as rare as that dwarven plate.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, what would you be looking for it?
With that, he thinks and says, it's nice to have, I suppose, but trying to find why is armor not just a thing on the list here. One second, gotta pull up what it costs normally. I think it's like 1,500 gold for plate armor, isn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah, I'm thinking 1,000, but I could be off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, not 40, 5e. There we go. Plate is 1,500. Okay, so with that, he thinks about it for a moment. Says this is a bit more specialized, I suppose, than normal armor is. I'd say I could depart with it for 2,500 gold pieces.
Yeah. I assumed it would be about 1,000 more.
It's not a bad offer. It's a little ostentatious.
Ooh.
Well, it's approaching gold, he said, so that's pretty fucking out there.
It's like dull gold coloration.
Do you have any interest in the armor that I currently have? And just like giving him the properties of it, which is the smoldering and the cold resistance.
With that, he looks over it. It's custom made, very intricate in its design, with the imbuing of the cold resistance as well. That's somewhat interesting. I could proffer a trade that plus, say, 500 gold.
That's not a bad deal.
So 500 gold total, swinging to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. 500 gold plus your armor for his armor.
It's not a bad deal.
I think I will think about it, as good of a deal as that is. Kind of like to speak to the owner of, the creator of this armor before trading it away.
With that, he shrugs. It's the due diligence is a good buyer, I suppose. I can respect that.
But I have the means to return with quite a bit of coin now, so perhaps we will see you again soon, and keep that ring handy.
That he nods. Of course, by all means, if you do find anything interesting on your travels, please do bring it by for me to examine.
Anyone else?
No, I don't think I need anything. I'm all set. Unless you have anything that can try and grab a dragon out of the sky mid-flight.
With that, he thinks, I don't think I have anything like that. I'll take a look around, though, before your next visit and see if I'm able to find anything.
Yep. Onward.
Onward. Where are we going next?
Stone Skull will thank him for his time and say I would maybe come back for the belt. Don't know when I'll be here, though.
As we're getting ready to leave, I'll shoot over my shoulder. So we'll take those stomping boots off your hands for 2,000 and stop them from collecting dust in your shop.
Make a persuasion check.
Ooh. Okay.
Pretty good at this.
Yeah. Pretty good at
With that, you
those.
see the man thinking about it for a moment, and he glances back over to where they're sitting. Now that Stone Skull is sitting back down, he shrugs. Might as well. You have a deal.
Also, I'll just kind of, struggle to pick them up, put the money down on the counter, and kind of hobble off.
Small
Give him
Turtle
the Stone Skull.
Dragonborn, thank you.
There you go,
for the
buddy.
host. Much appreciated. Thanks, Max. He quickly goes to put them on, and almost like a kid wearing their dad's giant boots. I imagine that's kind of how he's like trying to fit into these and walk in them at first, but then he starts to get the hang of it, I guess.
Let's see what they can do.
I'm leaning over to Tara and saying, I know you can't see this, but the boys have gone shoe shopping.
Okay, fine.
I've already got my shoes. My fancy boots.
Oh yeah, you do. Did Zorn die?
I think so. It's a shame.
Damn shame.
That's all right.
All right. So as you all start heading out of the shop called Pandora, that had a bunch of interesting, albeit very expensive items for sale, you find yourself back on the street. Dusk is ever approaching still, but you still have a bit of time, you assume. Assuming the shops don't close up right at dusk. But before we continue on our little shopping excursion, we're going to go ahead and take our 5-minute break.
Yeah, 5-minute break. All right. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, we'll continue. I really want to go and do something. I don't want us to be stuck here in the city all night. So I want to get done and moving and move our story forward. So we'll be back here in just a little bit. All right. Let's see what everybody is up to.
I'm back.
Everybody here?
I heard everybody but Willie.
Oh yeah.
No, everybody here.
Okay. Zorn around?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
All right, so as you move your way back outside, like I said, a few more shops around and such. Still a good amount of business and traffic going along the Way of the Dragon here that you're on. This main thoroughfare going through the city. Where do y'all want to go next?
Do a quick run through the other magic shop and then get our very specific things, like go to the clother or the tailor and guess the real estate as well.
Okay,
So that's the plan.
Champion's Scroll then.
Yeah.
As you approach this shop, it seems to be very well crafted as far as the building's concerned. You see the sign itself is, instead of just being like a wooden placard, it's actually a carved scroll kind of wrapped up at the ends, and then the Champion's Scroll written across it. Let me take notes on that last place, since y'all are probably going to go back.
Maybe.
Pandora.
Maybe.
Okay. Champion's Scroll. As you make your way inside of this place, you see it's much more lit up and such compared to Pandora. You can see everything within it, kind of the same setup here. You do see mannequins placed here and there, kind of like the half busts of them holding armor as well as shields and things of that nature. You see a wall lined with potions. The wall opposite on the other side has bookshelves with scrolls and books and such inside it as well. You see standing behind the counter is a bit of another old man. You see has a long gray beard going down to almost his belly. As you're walking in, you see him talking to one other gentleman in front of him and kind of nodding to him as the man grabs a bag and heads out, kind of nodding to you all as you're all entering the shop and then leaving. With that, the old man sighs, says, getting close to the end of the day, but I suppose I could have a few more visitors. Welcome to the Champion's Scroll. My name is Uldor Axecloud. What can I help you with today?
I'm gonna immediately walk up and say, do you have something that can make me stronger?
That he looks you up and down. He says, my boy, I'm not sure if you need anything to make you stronger. You look quite strong already.
Well, you see, we're fighting dragons, and I want to be stronger.
That he thinks, I could see why you would want that. Well, that he thinks for a moment, says, I do have a few potions that could help with that. With that, he kind of points over there. He says, there's a few, I was able to proffer a few toenails from some giants recently and make some interesting potions from them. I have one from a fire giant and one from a stone giant. Should do what you're looking for.
Sure, how much?
With that, he kind of quickly answers as he looks back. He says, the stone giant will be 2,000 gold and the fire giant 2,500 gold.
I'll take the fire giant potion, please.
With that, he nods and somewhat briskly walks around the counter and back into the room, opening the cabinet and pulling this potion down. You see the potion's, very transparent liquid inside of it, and what appears to be a toenail sitting into it, some like red vein through the toenail itself. With that, he walks back behind it again. He says, yes, this will do fine for what you're wanting. It's imbued with the fire giant's strength that, well, whether willingly or not, gave up his toenail for this. With that, he
No.
holds out his money for the 2,500 gold.
Willingly or not.
I hand him the money in platinum.
All right, so 250 platinum handed over.
Mhm.
He nods and drags the sack of it over, holding one out for you to put the money into, and then slides the potion over to you. I think that's already in here.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So yeah, that'll give you a strength score of 25 for 1 hour.
Yeah, it's
Plus
just a
7,
temporary
I
one.
think, to strength,
Yeah.
which is redonkulous.
So +7?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll repeat my question with the armor for him just to see if he has a different answer.
Well, this has different stuff. Do that. All right.
I wish it was a permanent
Let's
stat
see.
boost,
What
though.
armor does he have?
That would
Had
be
a-
awesome.
Oh, there it is. With that, he starts looking around the room and such. Says, "Well, I have a few sets of armor, not a lot of plate, as you're wearing there. With that, he looks around. He says, "Well, you said you were all fighting dragons. I do have one set that was made for some dragon hide." With that, he walks over and opening up a large armor dresser. You see a few sets up, and you see this one very ornate-looking green set of armor that's kind of fashioned with these scales across it.
Yeah, it's just
The green
a
kind of
temporary
going through
one.
different hues and shining at the edges of the scale plates. With that, he kind of points to it and he says, "Yes, I think a very menacing green dragon. These were taken off of after a group of adventurers took him out. It took some time to get everything needed to make it, but should do well for what you're looking for, at least." Essentially, dragon scale mail.
Well, a curious set of armor. I don't think it would lend itself particularly well to me. I don't think anyone in our party wears armor of that kind.
Yeah, we're half plate.
Is that medium?
I don't think so.
Yeah, half plate's medium.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But this would be the same AC.
I mean, I literally just got new armor. I'm alright.
Alright, well, not for us today, sir.
Says, "Very well." That he shuts the armor cupboard. Anyone else looking for anything?
How about any, do you have any spears? Like exotic ones?
That he thinks for a moment, kind of taking time to collect his thoughts and for the DM to search spear in the database here.
He's flipping through his records, his inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Got a big book. Thumbing through the pages.
Do. With that, he says, I have a couple of spears in my inventory. Both of them a bit nefarious in their nature, but they do the job quite well. With that, he points over to one hanging on the wall. He says, that is a blood spear. It's normal for the most part, but it seems to take a liking to anything it slays, and imparts its wielder with some stamina and vitality, whenever you slay an opponent with it.
Interesting. Oh, you gain
That's not exactly what I was looking for.
temporary hit points.
How about the other one?
So he's looking over at the other one. He says, the other one's a bit, as I said, nefarious. It does have a curse placed on it, unfortunately. Nothing too bad, but if you don't use it properly, it does have a bit of a tendency to attack you. However, if you do use it properly, it's a very good weapon. It's able to hit very well when you attack with it from your hand, but if you throw it, it flies incredibly far, much further than any normal spear. And it returns itself to you whenever you do throw it.
You mentioned something important in there about using it properly, huh? Oh, how would you do that?
With that, he thinks as well, hit your mark and you'll be fine. Don't roll an at one.
Does he turn and look at the camera?
yes, he does. That's don't roll an at one. Looks at the camera, just smiling.
Right, a little wink.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And I like that. Can I pick it up and heft it? How much?
With that, he looks and kind of eyeing it in there. He doesn't. I think says it does. Most people are a bit more wary, I suppose, when regarding the curse that comes along with it. But as I said, it's not as bad as some of the others I have seen in my time.
I just smile at him. He's like, I don't plan on holding it for very long.
With that, he nods and shakes his head. Says, very well.
Thank you, Hydrated
I
Bob.
haven't been able to sell it, so I suppose if you were willing to buy it, I could offer you a bit of a deal for it. We'll say 7,000 gold.
And you haven't been able to sell it.
With that, he kind of shrugs. Says, normally I charge 20,000 for it.
How many of these do you normally sell?
With that, he says, that's the only one I've ever come across, thank goodness. They're kind of, it's kind of hard to
I'd be
do.
willing to take the risk at 1,000, but I can't pay you to potentially hurt myself.
Daddy kind of shrugs, says, unfortunately, while it has not sold, I can't get rid of it for that little of a price. The method of obtaining it was a bit more costly than that.
So I can't blame you for it. Just if I see you again, I'll make sure to ask if it's still here.
Yeah, he basically describes it as it's a +2 weapon. It's a magical weapon, so all damage accounts for magic. Normal and long ranges are double or increased by 30 feet rather whenever you throw it, and it deals an one extra die of damage on a hit. And it flies back to your hand, but it is cursed, so if you roll an attack, 1 on the attack roll using the weapon will bend or fly back and hit you in the back.
Oh.
Or try to hit you in the back. You have to reroll.
Right. Oh no. I'll think about it. Like I said, I'm good on it right now, but
With that, he nods to you, Max, and then looks at the rest of the party kind of expectantly.
No, I think that's all for me. Unless anyone else speaks up, we'll come back if anything comes to mind.
With that, he kind of nods and shrugs, says, I do have other things that are not quite as intricate as these. I have rings that make it where you can move a bit quicker, rings that allow you to jump, give you a bit of protection. I have some...
what do you have in the way of potions?
With that, he thinks for a moment, says, well, it depends on what you're looking for, but I have a little bit of everything, I suppose. Potions that'll make you smaller, potions that allow you to fly, a couple of potions of healing, though I do not specialize in those, of course.
Did he say protection rings?
I believe he did.
Daddy nods, says, yes, I have a ring of protection on hand, actually.
How much?
Do. With that, he says, don't come by those very often. I'd say 3,500 gold for it. Seems fair.
Stone Skull thinks about it for a second. See, I shouldn't have got that potion. That's fine. I'll take it. Stone Skull nods and says, I'll take it, yes.
Alright. With that, he nods, says very well, and goes back and, much like the guy at Pandora did, he opens up a jewelry box and is able to proffer a ring that kind of has a shield bent around the shape of the circlet, thus being a ring of protection.
Yeah.
Is that in here? Oh, damn. Is it in here? Aha, it is. Hello?
Mm-hmm. Hello?
I can't just drag and drop this? Well, that's dumb. Whatever.
Somebody say dragon.
Dragon. Stone Skull. Ring of Protection.
I added it to my character sheet.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna give you I like having sheets, that way I can always go back and look at what y'all have already.
18 AC.
Does require attunement.
Yep. Party tank must be tankier. Absolutely.
As he hands over and receives the money for this ring, he once again kind of looks around and says, well, it is growing late. Is there anything else anyone is looking for?
No, I'm all set.
No, we should be cautious of the time. We have a few other places to stop.
With that, he nods and says, very well. Once again, if you ever need anything magical, please do stop by once again here to the Champion's Scroll.
Can do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I force everyone out of the goddamn Champion Scroll.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Put notes down for Uldor. Big white beer. Bear. Beard. There we go. Alright. Back out on the street. Where do y'all want to go now?
We're doing real estate now, right?
Ignalia wanted clothing.
Yeah,
A
why don't you
tailor.
guys go talk to real estate? I want to catch up with my tailor.
And I'm going to accompany Ignalia.
Okay. The rest of y'all are going to go look into purchasing real estate?
Yeah.
Alright. Let me open up the other tab. Alright, so Ignalia, you heard about a couple of clothing shops, but you know that there was one that was kind of spoken highly about called the Green Rune that you're going to head off towards.
Sounds like my kind of clothing shop.
Alright, so that. The rest of you, there's no shop really for real estate and such, but you know they're many guilds here in Waterdeep, and they kind of run the day-to-day affairs of the city to keep it very organized and such. And owners of houses, households and large estates and such like that go through the Realtors Guild and Tavern Keeper Guild and such, all kind of rolled into one, so everything's very neat and orderly. So you head up the street towards the kind of guild mess that's up there for all the different guilds. And you're able to find the one for the realty place. As you walk in, you see it's not very busy. One or two people talking to a couple of the clerks and such. As you enter, you see a man kind of wearing a very sharp-dressed uniform across it, black down the seams with a white shirt underneath, very fancily dressed and such. And as you walk in, he nods to you all and says, "Welcome, welcome, welcome. Are you here for renting out, buying, selling?"
I think we're looking to buy, depending on what you have.
Do you have to use the bathroom?
No.
Sorry.
With that, he nods, says, "Bye, of course, come with me." And with that, he motions, and he leads you over to one of these large desks over in the corner of the room, two torches sitting up above it. He sits down on the other side of the desk. You see there's several chairs on the other side for you. He motions for you to sit down. He says, "Well, buying. Are you buying for something locally? You looking for somewhere along the Sword Coast? Elsewhere, we do have a few establishments we've procured the land for in places such as Chult, as well as one place on the border of Thay, though honestly we've had a tough time selling that one. But regardless, we have several pieces of land and such."
Preferably within the city of Waterdeep, if not in the surrounding area. With the times like they are, I think we would much prefer to be inside walls.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
With that, he smiles and nods over towards Terrace, says, "Right you are. Troubling times indeed. Well, that doesn't stop business, though, of course. We have a little bit of everything here in the city. A lot of people come and go, as well as selling properties constantly. So we have everything from, modest apartments all the way up to, we have," and you see him shuffling through a couple pieces of paper. We have one mansion to a noble estate. They're going through rough times, had to sell it, unfortunately, but profitable for anybody who wants to purchase it. We have some townhouses. There's a couple farms that we have out.
You're saying a bunch of words that I don't understand. We need like 6 rooms and a place to store a bear.
With that, he kind of looks up from his paperwork and blinks a bit at Tara and says,
Accurate.
Well, to the point, I suppose. 6 rooms and a place for...
We'll actually need a 7th.
Animal rooms. 7 rooms and somewhere to store an animal. Very well. One moment. And with that, he starts looking through his papers and such, shifting through. You see him setting the stack of paperwork to the side. You see him reach over for a large tome that he sets up, setting down in front of him and opens it up, begins flipping through that as well. He says, "Well, this one has 4 rooms. Let's see. Any preferences to the structure itself? Do you want something larger, something more defensible? Do you want somewhere, inside the city? It's going to be a bit limited to manners and such regarding that. Outside the city, we'd have a little bit more leeway, I suppose. But any preferences there?"
I'm going to kind of turn towards Max. Do you think we need it defensible? You seemed to earlier.
My thought, defensively was getting it away, defending it ourselves, and getting away from the city. I mean, I guess being near, outside the city walls wouldn't be terrible either, as long as we're near the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to turn back to him. What he said.
With that, he looks between you and Max and nods his head. He says, "Well, there is a noble estate with a manor on it. Has a few more rooms than you requested. 8 rooms, actually, to be exact. 8 rooms, 4 bathrooms, a stable yard, which, of course, would be fine for storing a bear, was it, you said? Do.
Bear, horse, sometimes it changes.
Daddy nods. Well, the stable should have plenty of room for a manner of creatures, I suppose, within it. It has a luxurious yard out in front of it, as well as the surrounding land. Quite a few acreage that goes along with it. It has a large common room that they use for entertaining guests at this manor. Has a setup, a bar and everything, already fully furnished and such, and ready to go.
Fully furnished sounds expensive. What are we talking price?
Daddy kind of shakes his head and he says, well, for a large establishment such as this, it will require a bit of coin to go through for the purchase and such. You know, all the paperwork and everything has to get filled out somehow. Normally, we would charge for all the furnishings and such. He kind of thinks for a moment, then you see him reaching over and pulling out this contraption with a bunch of sliding beads onto it, and you see him tacking them to the side a few times, thinking for a moment, and then moving a few other, and then you see him kind of mentally calculating as he looks over this device. He says, I would probably be around, I'd say, 27,000 gold pieces.
Tara's going to kind of let out a low whistle. What do you have? Kind of look back towards Max. Around 8,000.
With that, he thinks this 8,000. With that, he starts going through, looking through the book once again. 8,000. That's going to make it a bit harder to get as many rooms as you want.
Max, do you have that paper you wave at everyone?
I'll pull the writ out and slide it on top of his book.
One of y'all make a persuasion check with advantage.
That would be me.
Go for it.
I can't see what I rolled because I'm on the wrong window. Okay, double tens.
Double tens.
I love
Solid.
rolling 2 2s.
2 2s.
With a +8.
With that, he looks over the writ and everything, looking up at Max as he reads it, and he says, oh, well, established. Well, thank you for all you do for the city and such. I would assume with such a writ in your possession that you would have housing already available to you, provided by the Lords of Waterdeep, but I suppose maybe looking for something your own isn't unnecessary at this point. With that, he goes through and looks again through the book. He says there is a guild hall that was on the market recently that they were pushing for buyers, but nobody wanted to purchase it. Yes, let me look here. Yes, right here. And with that, he stops on a page looking over. He says, yes, it was a guild hall for one of the merchant guilds that ran on some hard times when sea trading went down with that nasty business in Cholt here recently. That he looks it over. He says, it does have most of the furniture there. Some of it is a bit old, unfortunately. It does have a small stable in front of it as well. Yes. With that, he nods, looking over everything. He says, and being who you are, the names on that piece of paper, of course, we could trim a little off top into the profits. I'm sure we'll be compensated by the lords if we were to mention it. Daddy thinks for a moment. He says, I think we could part with it and you could be the new owners for, say, 6,500 gold pieces.
That sounds perfect. Sure do I sign. Wait. I think we're supposed to see
I imagine you just putting your hands around everything. Where do I sign?
With that, he kind of sees your hands wandering across the table and he kind of looks up and then finally realizes that you're blind. And he's like, oh, I apologize. Yes, it is customary normally to for you to walk the property first before purchasing it, just to make sure everything is up to your standards, of course.
Sir, I used to live in a cave. My standards are pretty low.
Yeah.
But I suppose these guys will want to see it.
With that, he nods, says it's a smart decision. Once again, we are just the middlemen for these places, so we can assure you that it is all in one piece and such, and that the furniture does, in fact, exist, if it hasn't been taken off by any looters, of course. But I'll be happy to. He kind of looks out the window. He says, "It is a bit late at this point, but if you would like to stop by tomorrow, I would be happy to show you the place."
Yep.
Yeah, it might be a little dark for some of these people to see. We could definitely come back tomorrow.
With that, he nods, says, "Excellent, excellent." And he kind of looks around at the group. And whose name will I put this reservation under?
Tara. But I didn't catch your name.
Bastard. All right, 1 second.
Havoc's like, no, I didn't get a name.
With that, he says, "Oh, that's incredibly rude of me. I apologize. My name is Harvin Bug."
Harvin Bug.
Is it Marvin?
Harvin.
I think he said Harvin with an H. I think.
Is it?
I don't
Is
know
it
what
Marvin?
letters are.
Harvin with an H.
All right, Marvin. Thanks so much.
Dad, you see him kind of adjusting his bow tie across his neck and says, "Yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much."
Is he what race is this guy?
Human.
Okay, fair enough.
He's a bookkeeping-looking white dude named Harvin.
Oh, okay, Harvin. I
Harvin.
guess we'll be off now, and you'll be ready tomorrow. Pretty busy.
And with that, he nods and says, "Yes, please just stop by any time in the morning, and me or one of my associates will be happy to show you the property."
Okay, wonderful. And I
That he
guess we're
nods
done
and-
shopping right now.
Yeah,
With
that
real
he's-
estate.
stands up and escorts you all out of the building and everything. And even as you're walking out the door, you see he's already ushering off with another client to go work with them. It seems that they're still somewhat busy. It's a seller's market.
Yeah.
All right, so
Last stop.
the other two
Clothing.
in the party are heading off to the Green Rune,
Yeah.
this clothing shop. It's actually located up at the south end of the Castle Ward. One of the few businesses actually within the Castle Ward itself that aren't in the market itself in the kind of north quadrant of it. You were looking for that thing, right, Scott?
Thing? Yes.
Okay.
Well, I have the excess dragon leather I was going to use for that.
Okay.
You've been waylaid by bandits. Like, oh,
Oh, it's unfortunate. Roll for initiative.
that was always my favorite in Baldur's Gate. Like,
Those-
later on in the game, you've been waylaid by bandits. Like, who is stupid enough?
Those poor bandits.
Yeah, why would you? I'm surrounded.
Why-
Oh,
I'm not trapped in here with
trapped in here
you.
with you. You're trapped in here with me.
Exactly.
All right. So as you
There's
two
one, Mishka.
as you two start walking towards this shop, you're able to find it relatively easily. You see it. There's still a torch burning within it, even though night is almost completely taken over the city at this point. You actually glance behind you as you're moving through, and you see pinpricks of light beginning to rise up above the city, and you recognize this as thousands upon thousands of drift globes that float up to illuminate the city during the night. You've seen it
Yeah.
a couple times before during your time stayed in Waterdeep, but it's still a bit of a mesmerizing shot, or sight rather, every time you see it.
Mm-hmm.
But you continue on, moving up this road, most of it just being houses and such. A few smaller manors, you assume owned by noble families, or those a little bit more well off than the others that live in the Sea Ward and the Dock Ward and such. But ultimately, you're able to find the shop called the Green Rune, it having a no sign or anything hanging over the door, but instead inlaid into the door itself is this emerald, fairly large, almost as big as your hand, just built into the door itself. And with that, you see, opening the door and walking inside, you see a younger looking woman. It's hard to tell her age. She could be well into her 30s, or she could be, early 20s. It's hard to tell just taking a cursory glance over her, rather. As you both enter, she looks over you both and seeing Stone Skull not wearing much of all, kind of turns his attention over towards Ignali and says, "Ah, yes, come in, my dear. Welcome to the Green Room. What is it I can help you with today?"
Oh, why, thank you. Quite a nice establishment you have here. Very easy to find. I have a bit of a simple request, but I have some excess materials that I wanted to have used. Perhaps, are you the one who might do designing of new clothes, or someone else?
Trying to find her name. I like 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that, she turns and looks at you. You see her kind of moving from behind the counter there that she was leaning on as you entered. She steps around and you see that she's, very beautiful. She has this long blonde hair going down her back. Moving forward, you see that the gown she's wearing seems to be made of some very delicate material that hangs and kind of flows off of her. She steps over and says, "Well, I am the owner of this establishment. My name is Lorelei Glosk."
It's quite an interesting name. Mine is Ignalia, and I'll just, politely shake hands.
As she moves forward, you holding out your hand, you see her grasping onto your hand with both of hers, and she kind of shakes it up and down and not ever looking down at your hand, instead of looking directly in your eyes. Says, "It is a pleasure to meet you, Ignalia."
And this would be my associate. I choose the word carefully and look over at Stone Skull.
With that, she looks over at Stone Skull and says, "Yes, quite a specimen of an associate." And with that, she kind of glides past Ignalia, moving over towards Stone Skull. And you see that she's, 5'7", 5'8", nowhere near as tall as you, Stone Skull. But she moves up and kind of reaches her hands up and traces one finger down your chest. Says, "Incredibly scarred and strong you are. But not wearing much, are you? We could change that, though."
Do you have cloaks?
With that, she looks over at you, Stone Skull, and with a bit of a smirk on her face, she says, "We have cloaks, among other things, of course, but we do have a few cloaks here and there."
Cloak's really all I need. Just a big cloak.
With that, she, still trailing her finger across your chest, takes it off and walks all the way around you very slowly, moving around you, kind of sizing you up and down. Says, she gets back, completing her circuit around you, looking back up at you, says, "We may have something your size, big boy. I'd have to look in back, though. You'd have to give me a minute."
Stone Skull just kind of nods.
With that, she turns back around on a heel towards Ignalia and says, "And you? What is it that you have come here for?"
I'm going to pull out the red dragon leather. Let them look over that and say, well, I'll also pull out the writ with it and show it to them and say, nothing too important, but I'd like some attire that's a bit more appropriate for a council meeting.
With that, she gingerly takes the writ from your hands, reading it over, and you see her take one hand and kind of move it up to her mouth. Says, "Oh, people of some importance, then. Well, I didn't know. I apologize." And with that, she hands the writ back to you, and you see her kind of step back, and with a very gracious and flowing curtsy, she lifts the side of her gown up and stands back up. Says, "Well, anything I can do to help with this, I'd be happy to." With that, she looks over the leather and such, says, "I could proper this into something a bit more exquisite in its design for council meetings and balls, banquets, what have you. It'd be good for all occasions, I believe."
Oh, that sounds quite good to me. I might like to talk a bit about the design beforehand. I do have my own taste, but it sounds like we're on the right page.
With that, she nods, says, "Of course, your input is invaluable to creating these." And with that, she turns back towards Stone Skull, kind of smiling up at him, and says, "And for you, would you be needing something a bit more exquisite as well?"
What do you think, Ignalia? He stands there like basically just like this loincloth and these giant boots with metal on the bottom of them now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, she looks over, she just is like, nothing but muscle and a loincloth. I don't...
And with that, she kind of leans back over towards Ignalia and says, "Maybe something that leaves a bit more to the imagination for him, yes?"
He's just like, can you please cover him?
With that, she smiles and lets out a kind of a melodic giggle, and she says, "Yes, I think we could partake in that and be able to satisfy that as well." With that, she moves back behind the counter and such, still moving in that very gentle stride. And with that, she sits down with the two of you and begins discussing what you'd be looking for and such. I already have an idea for Ignalia's.
The cloak that Stone Skull is thinking about or would kind of describe is similar to the one in the picture. Like a big, almost like a fur. Kind of like from Game of Thrones. Like the big kind of cloaks that the Stark family would wear.
Okay.
Something like that, because him being from up near the spine of the world, would wear it as just warmth more than anything, and would wear it for everything that he did.
So as you go through describing these things, Lorelei nods along, kind of giving little tidbits here and there of things that can be done and can't be done and all of that. She says, "Well, I think that," looking over Stone Skull again, kind of sizing you up from head to toe, says, "I think we could maybe use that motif of bare-chested and grizzled in your favor. I think a cloak of adequate attire and could be used for different occasions, whether you're going into battle or sitting down at a council meeting with the Lords of Waterdeep. I think I could raise something up in mind for that." And she smiles and kind of beams over towards Ignalia. "And what you have in mind, yes, that will be quite exquisite for others to partake in. I'll be happy to take care of that. And of course," and she kind of pats the bundle of dragon leather, "of course integrating this material here into it as well." With that, she nods, says, "Well, it will take a bit of time to make these garments." She thinks for a moment. She says, "I'm no pressing matters right now that couldn't be completed within a few days. I think I could go ahead and start work tomorrow on your garments that you have requested. Give me 3 days." And she thinks for a moment. "No, I think if I call in a little help, I can complete it in 2. Yes, 2 days. Come to me 2 days from now during the evening time, and I should be done with both of them."
That would be agreeable to me. I'd gladly pay you for the rush service.
Speaking of, how much are you requesting?
With that, as you're offering to pay for the rush service, Laura Lake just kind of reaches out a finger and taps your nose, acknowledging, and says, "That won't be necessary, my dear. For heroes of the realm, I will do this for free. Not the work, mind you, but the rush service. I do have a business to run here." With that, she thinks for a moment, says, "For all the time invested, the extra help I'll have to call in, as well as the materials, I'd say for the both of them, 150 gold pieces should suffice."
And-
That's fine with me, Stone Skull.
And does that also include, because she mentioned something about just actual attire as well? Would that be included with that? Something
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's not going to spend as much time on, like, formal gear as she is on the cloak.
Yeah. Okay. Stone Skull will nod in agreement.
Very well, we have an accord then. Well, if there are no other duties, if there's anything else, anything your other compatriots who unfortunately are not with you would like.
Close our super cheap.
No, I believe that's it. And I'll pull out the gold and hand it over to her.
With that, she takes it and sets it on there, and once again reaches out and clasps your hand in hers, Signalia, and says, "It was once again a pleasure meeting you both. I do hope to see you again very soon, and with some new attire for you as well."
Oh, that's just exquisite service. Why, thank you. We'll return soon.
With that, she nods to you both as you turn to leave and says, "Have a wonderful evening."
As we're walking out, Stone Skull will say, it's a good thing she said 2 days, because that's when the armor for our friend will be done as well.
Yes, the timing of that worked out quite nicely. And
Imagine that.
was she hitting on you? Or
I-
me? Or both?
I don't know. I think possibly both.
I'd rather fight a dragon.
Yeah.
I wish I would have gone in and showed her my fancy boots.
Fancy boots.
So you could stammer like the last one, eh, Max?
I love those
She
boots
seemed
so
to have her
much.
sights on you.
Fun fact, based that character off another NPC in another game I'm in.
Nice.
Very good. Alright, so we'll head back to meet up with everyone else.
All right. What's y'all's plan? Are y'all done for the evening? Anything else you would like to go look out? Do you want to go hit up the bars, a brothel, go walk the graveyard in the City of the Dead? What do you want to do?
I mean, if we're done for the night, Stone Skull's probably going straight to the bar.
I'm gonna head to local church chapter.
I'm gonna stick around with Stone Skull. Let's go paint the town red.
Yes.
I'll go to the bar.
Rogar?
Go to the bar.
Bar? Okay. All right. So as Ignalia goes off and does like a good paladin sorcerer does and goes to the church, the rest of y'all go get shit-faced.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere in particular you want to go, or you just want to walk until something finds your fancy?
I'd say just walk. I mean, we could always go
Man,
back to the yawning portal.
right?
Yeah.
That was my thought.
Yeah, let's go back to the portal.
Oh, okay. I had a list of tavern names ready to go. All right, so heading back up to the edge of the castle ward. I
It's
believe
over
it
in
is
here. Yeah.
right in there somewhere is where the yawning portal is.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm sad I don't have that map here. Oh well, that's fine. So you make your way in once again to the yawning portal. Not much has changed since the last time you've been there. You see as you walk into the front doors, looking off to your right, you see the namesake for this tavern. Standing in full view, this big, large well, this portal leading down to the mythical dungeon of Undermountain, that is said to be the only entrance into it here within this man's tavern. Over to your left, you see a few barmaids and such running around serving the patrons. You see it's as busy as ever. Almost all of the tables taken, though. You do see one almost immediately as you walk in is still open. More than likely, people just didn't want to be close to the door, so they didn't take that one. What's his name? Durgaden? No, not Durgaden. Shit. Durden. That's what it is, right?
One sec.
Durnan. That's what his
Durnan.
name is. There we go. You make your way in. You see the same old owner and barkeep for this place, Durnan. Who you know a little bit about just from different heartell and things that you've heard. So this is a very famous establishment. Durnan being an ex-adventurer, one that retired years ago, setting up this tavern here from a place that he essentially helped start the fame and fortune over to this Undermountain. He ventured into it alone and came back out proffering wealth and magical items that he discovered within it and made a life for himself, retiring from adventuring, opening up this bar here and making a bit of business out of those that venture into Undermountain by charging a bit of a fee to use his platform system, raising and lowering into the yawning portal itself to go into Undermountain. But most of his business comes from the bar itself. As you sit down up there, Durnan himself walks over, kind of eyeing you up and down, and says, seen you in here once before, I believe. Well, what are you having?
Your finest ale, please.
Damn, I closed my ale.
More ale for everybody.
Which one is going to be his finest tonight?
More ale. I want to do a bar fight scene. That's what I want.
With that, he nods
fight.
and heads back. All of you able to get seats up at the bar, up next to it. He comes back with four glasses, or 4 mugs rather. Set him down. He says, 4 Boulderhead Box. Kind of looks you over, says, doesn't seem you've been doing any adventuring, but if you ever do, drink one of these and you won't feel as much pain anymore, at least after the second one. With that, he nods to you and heads back to help other patrons.
Stone Skull downs his immediately just to see what happens. Doesn't feel anything.
Yeah, I mean, tastes pretty good. It's very thick and kind of creamy with its froth on the top of it. You see as Stone Skull downs it, kind of lowering the mug from his face. The rest of you, except for Tara, are able to see this kind of mustache of cream across his upper lip there, as he had downed it very quickly and it washed up on him.
Tasty.
Very tasty. Very thick and stout flavor to it.
I'll perhaps get a cask of this to go as well.
Stone Skull's going to go buy a wagon for all of his cask and barrel of ale.
So we all have we got a bag of holding just for casks of ale.
Yes. I mean, Stone Skull should have bought a bag just to put all of the alcohol in that he's going to carry on their next trip.
Are there any big games or anything to do in the bar?
You see a few people here and there playing, bar games and such. You see one group of men sitting around a table rolling these peculiar-looking dice, and as you're kind of watching them for a minute, getting a closer look, you're able to see that the dice themselves aren't actually dice. They look like old bones. You assume that they're probably playing knuckle bones.
Mm-hmm.
You see a few card games going on here and there. There's a bard sitting towards the furthest away from the door, so the back of the room, kind of strumming on, playing a tune. Wait, I have something for this. Yawning Portal? Aha.
What's he got? Let's hear what he has.
There we go. As you're looking back, kind of seeing the bard and such, you see that his guitar, this lute, I believe is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Only has 3 strings across it, and he's strumming them on, making a passable tune, but definitely not the best thing you've ever heard. But yeah, there's various bits of drinking going on for sure. A few games here and there. Not quite as a homely establishment as some of the others where tavern brawls and such were commonplace. This place is a little bit more classy than that.
If only we went to one of the other bars, because then we could have gotten into a fight.
We could probably still get into a fight, Stone Skull.
You guys finish do a fight. I'm gonna go.
Everybody but Tara make a perception check.
Yeah. First roll of 2019 for me.
Stone Skull and Maximilian. As Tara's saying, well, we could still get into a fight. Your eyes just happen to glance over to the bar, and you see Durnan kind of eyeing you all with a very serious-looking glance. Essentially telling you with his eyes, don't start a fight here.
Probably not a good idea. Hey, Terry, you're gonna need to not talk so loud when the owner's right around you.
Does he have a problem with making money off of physical? I don't understand.
I think he just might have a problem with the physical violence part.
Who would have a problem with physical violence? That doesn't make any sense.
That's why he's got the elevator to take it right out of his bar.
There's an elevator?
You don't feel that big hole?
Yeah, I don't know what an elevator is. So.
It's going to stop you from falling to your death when you go down a hole. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Let's go perform at the bar. Let's step it up a notch. Let's party started.
Max is gonna perform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what are you doing?
I gotta remember what instruments I got on me.
Max trying to one up the guy that's playing the lute.
No, I'm not trying to one up. We're gonna do a duet. We're gonna rock.
That's not as fun.
I also have a wooden lute.
Ooh.
I imagine I'm just gonna go pull up a stool next to him and do kind of like I am gonna do a little showy, but it's just an effort to pick it up. Like do like one man band shit. Like play the lute and like while whistling and like tapping your foot on the ground for like percussion.
Wonder if I have any good lute music.
I'm thinking like
I'm thinking Stone Skull's boots or the bass drum.
You know what I mean? Ooh, that'd be great. Get you over there.
That might not go well for us.
Don't activate it.
What kind of style of music you going for?
Real up tempo. I was thinking like that like Dropkick Murphys, Flogging Molly, kind of simple enough. Just real up tempo.
Up tempo drinking music.
Yeah.
Sure, that'll work.
I like that. Just imagine like the bass kick, just my foot slamming on the, dome, 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 dome. Yeah. And drinking.
And drinking.
Oh God, what's happened? There we go.
There you go.
All right, so as Max heads up with his own lute, moving up to this half-elf bard that's sitting up there playing the best he can with his 3-string lute, Max starts off with this kind of quick, up-tempo beat going on to it, tapping his foot on the ground. And after a few moments, you see the man start to join in with him, kind of chorusing off of it, them going kind of back and forth with the song, improvising it all along the way. You all sit back, and as you all find yourselves, your foot's kind of tapping along with them as they're going back and forth. You hear the tavern itself, the yachting portal. You start to hear foots, slamming against the ground in tempo with it. Boom, 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 boom. And then claps start cheering into it as well. Clapping along with it, you start to hear raucous yells and such clamming on in the background. People screaming out, screaming encouragement out towards everything. The music going on and everything. Everybody just really enjoying the music, having a good time with it.
No
I dig it.
performance check, though. I would have made him do a performance check. Yep. When the barmaid comes back around, just gonna ask for another drink.
And she brings you one. Everybody, like I said, the bar changing a bit from the kind of subdued atmosphere into one a bit more raucous and such, as everybody joins in enjoying the festivities now with the bit more pronounced music going on. The ale flows. This Boulderhead Bach brought back to you, Stone Skull. And every time, Tara, you run it as well. Another one is set down before you even finish off the last swig.
And then after we have been here for a while, Stone Skull's then going to inquire about taking a cask to go when they leave.
And as you ask about that, the barmaid over there, Dern, and kind of watching the bar and such, you see him kind of intent on the bar at this point, making sure that nobody gets too raucous with the festivities. The barmaid kind of looks over you and nods her head, says, "Well, what is it you want, my love? We have a few casks of the Boulderhead Bach. We have some Dwarven Stout. I think we have some ciders back there as well. Some Luglarch Ale, some Old Mead, some Polk, some Corian Cider, some Rusty Ale as well, I believe."
I look at her and say, "We'll take a cask of this and the Dwarven, what was that, a stout, or is that what it was?"
With that, she nods. Yes, a Dwarven Stout. It's a dark beer. It's usually very protected by the dwarves, but right now they have a bit of a trade agreement with a few of them.
He kind of nods and says, "One of each of those, please."
All right, love. Give me 1 second. And with that, she heads back to one of the back rooms there, obviously grabbing your cask and such. The music still going on.
Thanks.
The man with three strings kind of taking over a bit, smiling over, not really perturbed at all with Max joining in with him up there. Seems more so just happy to have the company. And after a few minutes, she comes back with a cask in either arm, holding him under her armpits. She moves up and sets him down in front of you, Stone Skull, and says, that'll be... She thinks for a moment. Says, I'm sure we won't miss them. 2 gold pieces for the lot of them.
Okay. He hands her 3.
And with that, she takes them, sets them down in her pocket. She says, thanks, love. And then moves back to helping other patrons.
Okay, so the first cask was what?
It was Boulderhead Bach.
Okay.
And then Dwarven Stout. But she had a lot of other things too.
If only I had a bag of holding.
Nobody asked about a bag of holding. Y'all could have got some.
Oh, we got a couple before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have a couple. All right. So as Ignalia is off praying, the rest of you enjoying the festivities here in the yawning portal. a bit of a brief respite after a bit of a hazardous experience that you had the day previous, as well as the bit of the gut-wrenching events that happened. It's nice to have a bit of a respite for that and time to chill out and remember that there are good times to be had, at least until you're sent off into your next mission. But when that is, you're not quite sure. You know, the council session will be called within the next few days, but an exact time hasn't been sent to you as of yet, at least. But that is where we're going to go ahead and end the session.
Yay!
Getting drunk and getting ready to start the next leg of our journey.
Yep.
And buying a house.
And buying a house.
And buying a house, yeah.
Kara's totally not going to build a giant cave underneath it.
All right, be right back. All right. So that's going to do it for us tonight. Don't forget, we are back here tomorrow for our Amongst the Giants campaign, which is the Storm King's Thunder playthrough. Hope you'll tune in for that. That's always a fun game. And otherwise, we'll see you again Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, for Stealing Dragons, which is our Waterdeep Dragon Heist game. Till then, gonna make it a night here. Thank you all for sticking around and hanging out with us tonight. Pretty great turnout. Good to see it. I will see you guys tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, for Amongst the Giants. But have a good night until then.